This broadcast of the ASEAN Basketball League may not be reused in any way, shape, or form without an express written consent of the ABL.
Go right there, another block by Delvin.
Wide open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Mono Vampire.
Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in!
CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Lai, oh, everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom of the net.
Leaky with a big steal. Leaky for 3. That goes in. What a play!
We are coming to you from inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium right here in Foshan, China, as we bring you the live and exclusive coverage of your ASEAN Basketball League season number 10. And both of these teams looking for their first win tonight. It is going to be the Macau Wolf Warriors playing their second home game of the season, going up against the San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. You guys have Martin Javier, and of course joining me here is Noel Zarate here in the coverage. Welcome to the coverage, Noel, and good evening.
It's very exciting. Thank you very much, Martin. And it's very exciting to be part of the season number 10 here of the ASEAN Basketball League. Quickly, we saw the team standings. The Mono Vampire 2-0 right now. And how about this? A pair of dismal debuts from two highly touted imports for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, only combining for 10 points in that 111-76 loss on the road against Mono.
Right, that's not going to cut it against a very good team like Mono Vampire. On the other hand, they got Lawrence Domingo and Nick King perform well in that game, Noel.
Well, Nick King and Lawrence Domingo did combine for 31. Of course, it wasn't enough. And the new additions right here, we're talking about Jordan Heading and Louis Vigil, of course. They also had auspicious debuts in the losing effort. But Jason Brickman, what an addition he is for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. This guy was averaging practically a double-double in his career here in the ABL, but did not get anything done on the offensive end. Only 4 assists to go with 0 points and 2 rebounds.
That's right. Well, he was not himself against his former team. Played for Mono for 2 years. Debut with San Miguel Alab Pilipinas did not go well in his return in GSP Stadium 29. Again, only 1 attempt from the field, which is very unusual. And another unusual stat there is a 4 assists, Noel.
Well, of course, we all know that this guy can actually average at least 12 assists a game. He proved that in the championship run with the Westport's Malaysia Dragons, and of course in the 2 years with Mono Vampire. So again, this is a team. We're talking about San Miguel Alab Pilipinas that has only been really together. This unit that we're about to see has been together for at least just 3 weeks. So a lot of growing pains, but it is the start of the season only.
That's right. And tonight they are facing this home team, Macau Wolf Warriors, who lost in their home debut against the hot shooting of the Macau Black Bears.
And this, of course, is the lone bright spot here for the Macau Wolf Warriors. Chai Chen getting 32 and 10. This guy averaged almost 20 and 10 a game last season. Was an MVP candidate. And when they went to the half-court game, he actually also showed his range, shooting 43% from beyond the arc. 10 of 19 field goal shooting there, 32 and 10 again. If they're able to get into a half-court game and those little transition games, the Wolf Warriors might be able to get their first win. But of course, Julian Boyd, well, a lot is expected from this young man as well, because Julian Boyd had 21.7 rebounds, but it was just not enough against, the hot shooting 17 three-point field goals made by the Macau Black Bears in that game.
And it took him a while actually to get things going. Julian Boyd only scored in single digit in the first half, so he picked up the scoring in the second half, which was a little too late for the Macau Wolf Warriors. But the tandem here, newest tandem of the Macau Wolf Warriors, both champions in the ABL, Doug Herring and Stephen Thomas, will need to do more offensively, defensively in the rebounding category to be able to pull off a win against the former champions of the ABL, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Oh, there's Doug Herring on our screens right now. We all know what he did when he was brought in late for the CLS Knights last season. Helped them all the way to the championship.
Right.
And of course, we all know the exploits of Stephen Thomas, one of the top 10 players in the history of this league that we're in right now, the ASEAN Basketball League, a two-time champion with the Indonesian Warriors, and of course with High-Tech Bangkok. But again, he is 38 years old.
He is.
So there's a lot to be expected from Stephen Thomas as he's being introduced right here. In terms of his veteran presence, the scoring might not be there anymore for him, but he's going to have pretty much a field day here against a very young core of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Oh, he's going to be against Adrian Forbes primarily. Stephen Thomas also is the #1 rebounder in ABL history with 1,519 rebounds across his name before we started the season, Noel.
He only needs one more point to move up, actually, to #7 in the all-time list here in the ASEAN Basketball League. So we can see the next 5 games coming up for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. They finally get the Singapore Slingers, but that'll be at home. That's their home opener against the debuting Slingers. That's going to be something that a lot of people would like to be watching out for. And of course, the Wolf Warriors, well, they'll finally get on the road, but it's a lot of road games here coming up for the Macau Wolf Warriors.
And a lot of tough games coming up for both teams here as they face, of course, the contenders of this league, Singapore Slingers, the newcomers, Fubon Braves, who are 1-1 right now, and split their home stand last week. As we take a look at the starting unit here of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, quick change here for Coach Jimmy Alapag. No Khalif Wyatt in the starting unit here, Noel, which brings Jason Brickman to his natural position at the point guard spot.
And he's going to be needing to be very effective right off the bat. While we take a look at the Macau Wolf Warriors here, I mean, look at that front line already. You're talking about Stephen Thomas, who's about 6'10", 6'11", Chai Chen at 6'7", and of course another 6'7", 6'8" guy coming in, and Julian Boyd. So that's a pretty tall and hefty lineup. We're only not talking about tall. It's probably combined about, what, 700 pounds between those guys?
A lot of heft provided by those two guys. But for you, okay, let's lay down the foundation here. For San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, what do they need to do against a very visibly taller and longer Wolf Warriors team?
Run. That's pretty much it. That's the only thing that I can think of right now. Of course, they're going to be having a pretty much of a challenge trying to control the boards against Stephen Thomas and Julian Boyd at the onset. You can see there, Todd Purvis, he actually coached in the Philippines before. He did bring the Indonesian Warriors to an ABL championship. He was the coach of the year in 2012. But if anybody knows how to coach against a Philippine team, that would be this man right here, Todd Purvis. Well, of course, for Jimmy Alapag, he has already proven to be a champion coach here in the ABL, but with some new pieces here and some who might be on the brink of, well, we don't know. You know, this could be judgment day for a lot of people in the organization, but you know, it's a long season. Could be. You know, they might have to make some decisions in terms of their lineups, how they move forward from this one. And Coach Jimmy has been there, done that, both as a player and as a coach. So this will be an interesting mix. You can see there, Todd Purvis came out being the head coach of the Vietnamese national team before coming back here to the ASEAN Basketball League, and he's pretty pumped up with this matchup. He's coached against Jimmy Alapag before, as when Jimmy was still a player in the Philippines.
In the PBA.
Yeah.
I believe Coach Todd Purvis also coached for San Miguel
Yes.
That time. Okay,
That's interesting.
That's the irony here.
Technically coaching against his former team here, and he's pretty familiar to seeing these red colors of the visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas jerseys.
All right. Both teams 0-1 heading into this matchup, heading into tonight here inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium. Once again, we thank you for catching all of the action here in the ASEAN Basketball League season number 10. You guys are joined by Martin Javier and Noah Zarate here in the coverage. It is the Macau Wolf Warriors going up against San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Adrian Forbes, Julian Boyd jumping it up. And possession immediately goes to San Miguel Alab Pilipinas after that infraction.
Yeah, that was tried to steal the jump ball to get the early offense going here for the Wolf Warriors. Now for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, you know that Jason Brickman, he did have 4 assists in that game. We saw his lone attempt was blocked. If he can run the pick and roll with guys like Forbes and Nick King, and it's a lot of pass immediately.
Jeremiah Gray with the alley-oop to open the scoring and a reverse jam as well.
So that is a statement right there already. Jason Brickman, he's all pumped up to make up for that sorry effort that he had against the Mono Vampire.
Here is Stephen Thomas, 15 rebounds in the previous game. And what a counter here by Julian Boyd, catching the lob and throwing it down.
Well, Julian Boyd doesn't need to warm up anymore for this one. That's a great starting sequence to this game. 2 backdoor alley-oop dunks. How about that?
Jordan Heading in the starting lineup today for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Nick King putting up the tough shot, no good. Adrian Forbes pulls it down and forcing one up as well. And a late whistle here against the Wolf Warriors. Tai Chen will be whistled for the foul.
They actually called this one on Douglas Herring.
Doug Herring getting his first personal.
Yeah, he was trying to get into the rebounding position. Now, Doug Herring is a pretty tall point guard at 6'3".
Yeah.
So the Wolf Warriors parading what you can call an NBA-worthy starting lineup in terms of height and heft.
That's right. Smallest guy on the floor would be Chris Shent, who is about 6'2" or 6'3". And Jordan Heading stepped outside, so that's going to be a turnover for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Wolf Warriors getting it back. Jason Brickman, early pressure against Doug Herring here in the backcourt.
Now, we talk about what San Miguel Alab Pilipinas needs to do. They need to run the ball a lot. For the Wolf Warriors, it's the complete opposite. If they want to get into the post for guys like Chai Chan and probably even Stephen Thomas, then that would give them the advantage against the visitors.
Here is Shentu putting this one on the floor, bothered by Jeremiah Gray, and that's the length of Jeremiah Gray bothering that shot. Gray on the other end. So end-to-end action for Jeremiah Gray for Alab Pilipinas.
And exactly what we were talking about. If San Miguel Alab Pilipinas can run, Jason Brickman gets into the open floor. He had 3 targets that time. Easy layup there for Gray.
Easily a better start for Alab Pilipinas in this matchup against the Wolf Warriors. Julian Boyd going to Tsai Chen here, who had 32 in their last game. Boyd catching it at the post, getting fouled in the process by Jordan Heading. Or is it going to be against Adrian Forbes? Either of those two guys will be whistled for the foul. So it is against Jordan Heading, his first personal foul. Julian Boyd heading to the line here for a couple of shots. Now this guy, Julian Boyd, played with Jason Brickman in college with LIU Brooklyn.
That's right.
Played with him for 2 years, but he is 2 years older than Jason Brickman. So they know each other.
Yeah, they know each other very well. But it's also nice to see the way they ran that half-court set. They forced San Miguel Alab Pilipinas to switch, and Heading had no chance against the bigger Julian Boyd.
That's right. Julian Boyd at the free throw line. Had a lot of problems also at the line in their previous game. Only 4 out of 7 from the charity stripe that time. He is able to drop one in. So it is 3-4 here in the first quarter. A lot of action already transpiring here. Oh, Brickman loses possession. Shentu picks it up. Doug Herring. You don't see that often from Jason Brickman. Doug Herring here. Over to the other side. A foul away from the ball. And Stephen Thomas, Adrian Forbes getting into it there.
Yeah, and again, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is switching everything right now. And, you know, the Wolf Warriors are pretty quick to find those mismatches. And when Forbes saw that he was going to go up against Stephen Thomas, he was in no man's land, so they just gave up the foul.
Oh, inbound play. And Shentu getting away there. Jeremiah Gray called for the personal.
That's going to be an interesting matchup, actually, between Chris Shentu and Jeremiah Gray. Shentu is one of the shiftiest guards that we have here in the league. Also a high leaper and great basketball IQ as well. If he can stay on the floor, stay away from foul trouble, which was his problem last season, then he'll be a big factor for the Wolf Warriors looking for win number 1.
That's right. Chris Shentu, interesting fact here, Noel, was actually part of a TV show That was broadcast nationally in China. That was a basketball show. And then he was able to go up against, some of the best talents, the best finds in Chinese basketball as well.
I would say that he's one of the best finds that we have here in the ABL, and he's able to tie it up at 4.
So Jason Brickman penetrating here. Floater will not work. Adrian Forbes hustling for that rebound. He eventually gets it. Another chance for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Jeremiah Gray working. Pull-up jumper is good for Gray.
How about 3 of 3 to begin the game for Jeremiah Gray? We didn't really see much of that against the Mono Vampire.
So Jeremiah Gray off to a fast start here. It is 6-4 Alab Pilipinas. Tsai Chen working against King. They go to the post here. High post for Julian Boyd. Kick out. Herring to the corner. Shentu has that shot. In and out for Chris Shentu, and Forbes gets it.
And again, the half-court set was executed brilliantly that time. They just didn't get the shot to drop.
Oh, quick trigger for Jordan heading there, missing the triple try. Doug Herring lobbing it up inside. High-low play, and Julian Boyd finishes.
You notice that Julian Boyd is now actually playing center for the squad right now, and Stephen Thomas is trying to draw the defense outside. It's been successful so far.
And Nick King all the way to the cup. Quick counter for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Now Nick King does have the speed advantage against Stephen Thomas here, and at 6'9", he's not really giving up that much in terms of height.
That's right, 24-year-old Nick King coming over from the Maine Red Claws, which is the G League affiliate of the Boston Celtics. Here's the counter by Tsai Chen, nailing the mid-range J.
Yeah, and that's his shot, really.
Yeah. Adrian Forbes with a counter here. So back and forth we go here, Noel.
And this should favor San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. So far it has shown on the scoreboard. But again, look at the half-court set. How many screens do we see before the ball actually gets to the post? And that is going to be an easy one right there.
Oh, Boyd, though, just leaving that one short. Jeremiah Gray brings it downhill for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. To the corner he goes. Heading knocks it down from deep.
Now, Heading doesn't have the prettiest looking jump shot, but it's one of the most effective jump shots, especially if he's given about, 5 feet of shooting space.
Oh, he gets it done. And that was his spot against Mono Vampire. Here's the lob again. Julian Boyd. That was big-to-big action once again for the Wolf Warriors.
Stephen Thomas, incredible basketball IQ that play.
Here's the corner triple. Gray misses. Thomas pulls it down, and the Wolf Warriors, well, down by 3 here, 10-13. A chance to inch closer. They go to Tsai Chen at the post. Their top local kicking it out to Shentu. Shentu covered by Gray. Julian Boyd backs down. They got 8 seconds to work with. Boyd puts it up, short again. And Forbes gets it. Ahead to King. And Nick King breaks away for the two-hander.
How did Jason Brickman see that? He had his back turned to Nick King when he caught the ball. Just probably heard the footsteps. You know, these guys probably know each other's footsteps sounds already at this point. But that is just incredible passing shown by Jason Brickman already with 3 assists here in the first quarter. Derek King is going to come in and replace Tsai Chen. Now, this is interesting because now Coach Todd Purvis realizes they're getting beat on the running game. They need to bring in a faster unit, but at the expense of his #1 player.
That's right. That's the interesting move here. Let's go to a timeout first. Alab Pilipinas ahead by 5. Back to the action. It is 10-15 in favor of the visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. And as you mentioned earlier, Noel, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas just needs to run to be able to create a safe cushion here as early as the first quarter.
And Jimmy Alapag has actually won this matchup this early already. They're up by 5 right now, but he's the first one to force the adjustment for Coach Todd Purvis of the Macau Wolf Warriors. They're now going to a speedier unit with the entry of Derek King. And, of course, Chai Tien will have to now watch from the bench and not score any points.
That's right. That's going to be an interesting move here. As we see Boyd overshoot the mark on the three-pointer. Stephen Thomas gets a rebound and finds Doug Herring inside.
How about point center? That could be the new term now for Stephen Thomas. You know he's not going to get you many points, but he's already picked up quite a few rebounds and quite a few assists here in the first half, or first quarter rather.
And getting them the second chances as well. Here's Jeremiah Gray over to King. Nick King facing up against Boyd. Step back Jay, it's short, and Doug Herring corrals it. Herring to Shentu. Shentu saw the open lane and attacked it right away.
How about the explosion there coming there from Chris Shentu? He feels like he's a 5'10" guard trapped in a 6'3" body.
That's right. That was a very speedy move, especially against Jeremiah Gray. Nick King getting denied by Boyd. He saves it to Thomas, and Forbes gives up the foul against Stephen Thomas.
And Stephen Thomas was actually in position that time, and Forbes just couldn't get out of the way. So another crafty move by the veteran Stephen Thomas. Now, if Forbes can't stay in the game, that's going to be a problem actually for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, because they're not that deep at center. And now Coach Jimmy Alapag is going to start to bring in some of his veterans here. Lawrence Domingo is going to see his first action of the game.
And Khalif Wyatt also checking in for Alab Pilipinas. So let's see how this dynamic will work. Jason Brickman, Wyatt on the floor alongside Lawrence Domingo and Nick King. Chris Shentu looking for Boyd. He gets it to him against Domingo here at the post. Boyd, oh, that's a tap from behind by Lawrence Domingo. He will be whistled for the foul. So immediately, just after he checked in, he commits his first personal.
And San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, of course, are in the penalty already. That's going to mean free throws now for the Macau Wolf Warriors. So again, when it's the running game, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has the advantage, but an obvious advantage here. The height and the heft of the Macau Wolf Warriors, a big advantage in the half-court game. Now, Julian Boyd, you did mention, struggled from the free throw line. 4 out of 7 his first time around. 1 of 2 here today so far, and the struggles continue. So he and Stephen Thomas will have to be working on their free throws. They're going to get fouled a lot in this game.
Right. Stephen Thomas also struggled, as he was 1 out of 5 against the Macau Black Bears. Yeah, you're right. They're going to get fouled a lot. So you need these big guys to really convert on their freebies here. Boyd on the second one. A chance to tie the game up. He does. 15 apiece. Under 4 minutes remaining in the opening frame. It is Alab Pilipinas on the attack.
This is 5 unanswered points right now for the Wolf Warriors. So they're grinding back into this game.
Quick response off
There's
the
the pick and roll.
timeout. Oh, King saves it to Brickman just in time. 10 seconds to work with for the red shirts. Brickman, King, pull-up jumper for Nick King is off, and rebound goes to Herring. A chance to take the lead for the white shirts. Chris Shentu looking. Shentu decides to attack. Shentu loses it. And let's see, it will stay with the Wolf Warriors with a lot of time to work with. They have 15 seconds to manufacture some points.
And now they're seeing that, hey, the speed unit has sat down for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, so it's safe to bring Chai Tien back in to the game for the Wolf Warriors.
Oh, that was brilliant decision-making coming from Coach Todd Purvis. Julian Boyd backing down, carving space. Boyd off the glass and in.
Lawrence Domingo's about 6'3", 6'4", going up against 6'7", 6'8", and the post man will usually win that matchup. Oh!
And Nick King quickly answering, giving the lead back to Alab Pilipinas with that three-pointer.
And that ended a 7-0 run here for the Wolf Warriors. So again, whose game plan will reign supreme? The half-court game or the quick transition baskets coming from the visitors?
And it is Chai Tien off the glass, so it will roll out. And that was over Domingo as well. Heading on the break. Heading kicks it out. Oh no, he takes the shot, no good. Domingo, Brickman sends it out to Wyatt. Wyatt for 3. That's too strong. Wyatt tracking the ball down for another chance for the visiting squad. Wyatt to Domingo. Again too deep. They rotate it to the other side. It is Jordan Heading nailing the three-pointer. So that's back-to-back hits from downtown for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
I don't believe that Jason Brickman's going to take a seat anytime soon. The way he has been orchestrating very well for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Doug Herring couldn't answer. And Alab Pilipinas could go for a safer cushion. Here, Jordan heading. That was halfway down for heading, but he was fouled in the process. So free throws coming up for the Filipino-Australians.
And a very aggressive start as well for Jordan Heading. The foul, of course, will be charged to Liu on that last play. As we see this one again. Again, transition, quick, early offense coming from the visiting team from the Philippines. And again, 7 points in the game already for Jordan Heading. He's been criticized about that, the form of it on that jump shot. You know, he did play for the junior national team of the Philippines before coming here to San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. But, you know, no matter how funky your jump shot form may appear to be, this kid's already got 8 points in the game.
That's right. As long as you're making your shots, that's good. So, Jordan Heading able to convert. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas all of a sudden up by 7 points here as Jordan Heading heads to the bench, replaced by Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser. Let's get it right. It's Ganuelas-Rosser now.
He's using his two names already this season. Of course, his older brother, Matt, does play professionally in the Philippines.
That's right. Saigon from deep. And he knocks it down.
I don't know what it is about lefties, but when they release a jump shot from distance, it looks pretty good. And that was good because he went in.
And the Wolf Warriors got a stop on the other end. Here's Liu Su. Stops, pops, and overshoots the mark.
He's got that shot in his arsenal, though.
And that's another lengthy player off the bench for Coach Todd Purvis. Here is Wyatt. Over to King. They go to the post here. Domingo at the quick spin. Good rotation for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Oh, there
and
it goes.
ending up with a free-pointer for Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser.
And another assist by Jason Brickman. He's got about 7 assists already here. And we still have over a minute left in the first quarter.
That's right. Even if he's not really bringing the ball down and starting it from the top of the key.
Yeah.
Boyd from deep. Short. Nick King corrals it. Here comes Alab Pilipinas over to Domingo. Doesn't make it work. And Nick King with tremendous defense there in transition. Or Derek King rather. Herring to the corner. Derek King from deep. Short. And here comes Jason Brickman. 39 seconds left in the first. Wyatt for 3. Wyatt drops it in. So Alab Pilipinas here creating a 10-point advantage, prompting the timeout from Coach Todd Purvis. We are back inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium right here in Foshan, China. Game between the Wolf Warriors and Alab Pilipinas. Right now, it is the team from the Philippines ahead by 10 points, creating a run here in the first quarter with a half minute remaining, 32.1 seconds to be exact.
30-20. Think about that. I mean, they gave up 7 straight points and then they go on this sick run. I've even lost track of how many points San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has scored in this searing run that they've done.
And just a reminder, Alab Pilipinas only scored 12 points against Mono Vampire in the first quarter. So this is a big change, a big difference for Alab Pilipinas already on the road. And here is Khalif Wyatt. They got to stop, and they will have an opportunity for the final shot here in the opening frame. Wyatt will facilitate. He's got Herring on him. 5 seconds to shoot. Wyatt against Tai Chen now. He needs to put one up. Wyatt off the glass, too strong. And that's the end of the first 10 minutes here in China. The visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas with a 10-point cushion, 30-20 at the end of the first. We'll go back for second quarter action of this game when the ASEAN Basketball League returns.
送俾我哋嘅前浪隊主場籃球保會。嚟到第一節嘅比賽結束之後，戰狼隊暫時落後住10分，現場嘅球迷一定要為我哋嘅戰狼隊、我哋嘅全場球隊加油打氣！我係戰狼隊，你哋加油！戰狼隊，戰狼隊，個3連擊，戰狼，戰狼，戰狼！
Back to the ball game here in China as we bring you the ABL 10, and Alab Pilipinas ahead by 10 here going into the second quarter against the home team, the Macau Wolf Warriors. You guys are still joined by Martin Javier, Noel Zarate here in the coverage. Noel, fast start for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, a complete opposite to their first game of the season. How were they able to do it?
Well, they just ran the ball, exactly what we were talking about at the top of the coverage. Every time they go into the running game, like 80% of the chance they get an easy look and they score. Now this time they're also making hay in the half-court game.
Right, that's right. That was Adrian Forbes getting the basket underneath. But Alab Pilipinas also connected a lot from downtown in that first quarter,
right,
going 5 out of 8, Noel.
Well, of course, credit Jason Brickman, who's already picked up, we counted it right, 7 assists in that first quarter. And 4 of those going to the perimeter shooters, like Jordan Heading, along with Khalif Wyatt, knocking stuff down. But, you know, Chai Chen, being Chai Chen, is able to gather another foul by working the post the way only he can do right here. That's a wrong-footed hook shot, but the result is he'll still be getting 2 free throws.
So Chai Chen heading to the free throw line. Last year, he averaged 19.7 points per game, the top local scorer of season number 9 here in the ABL, ahead of for the MVP, the eventual local MVP, Bobby Ray Park. So if they made the playoffs last year, things would have been different for Chai Chen.
Yeah, that would have been a lot closer for the MVP race. And I actually read somewhere that Chai Chen felt that he deserved the MVP award, but of course that's something that he now has to prove this season. That was his first season, of course. This guy's a legit CBA player.
Right.
I mean, he's just a force inside, and he shoots the ball with such accuracy from beyond the arc. I mean, how about 43% for the season?
That's right.
From beyond the arc.
That's just an amazing stat for a guy as big as Chai Chen.
Yeah.
Right. Khalif Wyatt hasn't made a mark here in this ball game, looking to break his silence here in the second frame. Nick King over to Heading, who has played excellently here in the first half. Jordan Heading there, sliding, gliding to the hoop.
Well, he's already in double figures. He's got 11 points in this game.
So that start earned by Jordan Heading was the right decision for Coach Jimmy Alapag. Here is Stephen Thomas, working hard down low and eventually getting fouled by Ganuelos Rosser.
You got to take a deep breath every time that Stephen Thomas gets into the paint. You know how aggressive he is. Again, top 10 players, one of the top 10 players in the history of this league, and showing us why he's the #1 rebounder of all time as well. But again, he is 38 years old. His veteran presence will make a difference this season.
Yeah. But he is physically fit, as we can see. You know, Stephen Thomas, though, 38 years of age, had 15 rebounds in their game against the Macau Black Bears. He has one coming up, only 1 out of 5, though, at the free throw line. So it's a good sign that he is nailing his early free throws here. And as I mentioned, that, of course, he's going to miss.
Nailed one of them at least. Could be up for 1 for 5 or 4 for 5. We don't know yet.
That's right. Wyatt attacking Wyatt. That's a veteran move from Khalif Wyatt against Derek King.
And Khalif Wyatt, of course, I believe he went to college in Temple University as well. So another NCAA Division I veteran. Did not perform particularly well against the Mono Vampire. But, you know, you have to take that loss with a grain of salt. I mean, Mono played a spectacular game. They are 2-0 right now. And a lot of people are saying, because of the way they're built right now, of course, they got Ryan Watkins in as well as their center. The way they're built right now, it's as if they already figured out what it takes. You know, from being the #8 seed in last year's playoff, making it to the semifinals, and just barely missing the finals. They just needed to add a few more ingredients, to take away a few Mono Vampire is a scary team this season.
That's right. And the thing is, with Mono Vampire, they continued to play even after the season, joining a lot of leagues. So the chemistry is already there going into season number 10 for Mono Vampire. As we take a look at this foul from Doug Herring.
It's actually called a kickball violation.
Oh, kickball. Okay, no foul for Doug.
Yeah.
So that's a bullet dodged by the Macau Wolf Warriors. Here is Wyatt backing up. Khalif over to King. King puts it on the floor, attacking and blowing by Stephen Thomas.
And again, he does have the speed advantage over Stephen Thomas. Somebody's got to switch upstairs the moment he tries to attack. The help came a little late there from Tai Chen.
The lead starting the balloon for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. It's at its biggest at 15 points, 38-23. So the Wolf Warriors will need to find solutions in the next place.
Well, they're trying to get it now inside to Doug Herring. He does have a height advantage over everybody in there at 6'3". And Todd Purvis is going to burn his final timeout of the first half.
Wow. All right, 38-23. Let's go to a quick break.
2-3 zone, make sure we're bumping and communicating. Check post area and then challenge three-point shots. All we got to do is level out the three-point shooting right now. We're in great shape, okay? Hey, come on now. Sprint back on defense first. Let's get the ball.
Let's go. Let's make another push, right? They're going to try to make a run right here. Hey, they're going to try to make another run and get the game. Oh, no. Hey, keep moving that shit. Make another push. Just get Harry. Get the other local guy. So you have Harry.
Thank 38-23, biggest lead for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas with under 8 minutes remaining here in the first half. And a fantastic showing here for from the visiting team. They are the hungrier team, as that's what we are seeing at the very least here in the first half.
Well, you know, they haven't even gone to Louis Vigil right now, seeing his first action of the game.
Right.
Louis Vigil actually also played professionally in the Philippines. He's actually on loan from one of the teams.
On loan?
On loan from the San Miguel Beermen in the Philippine Basketball Association here, where Jimmy Alapag is also an assistant coach. And that's a great play design coming off the timeout by Todd Purvis.
And that's exactly why he called the timeout, to stop the bleeding for the Wolf Warriors. And they did it quickly.
Yeah, they got the lead down. They got the lead down to 13, and now they're zoning San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. This is interesting.
Rosser left open. Hit one earlier. This one is off. Stephen Thomas pulls down the rebound. Here is Doug Herring bringing it down. He is up against Vigil. Boyd against Ganuelas Rosser. Cross-court pass. Tai Chen catch and shoot. It drops for Tai Chen.
He just needs to see a sliver of that rim. Catch and shoot for somebody 6'8", 6'9", hitting it once again with great consistency, I might add.
So a quick response of the timeout for the Wolf Warriors. That's 5-0 to cut the lead down to 10. Here is Nick King. Follow-up will not work. Boyd gets it. Doug Herring back the other way. Wolf Warriors has a chance to trim it to single digits here as he misses, though, the triple try. Nick King handing the rock to the corner. That one deflected by Doug Herring. So good heads-up play coming from Doug there to prevent the open three-pointer on the other side.
And you sort of felt that there was a drop-off in terms of intensity when Jason Brickman sat down. It's not really the fault of Khalif Wyatt. It's the way that lineup was built on the floor with guys like Wyatt and Lawrence Domingo, who are now checking out. So now we expect things to speed it up, especially now that Vigil is in, playing that number 2 position.
That's right. Jeremiah Gray from the other side, too strong. So one world import on the floor for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, and that is Nick King. So both Adrian Forbes and Khalif Wyatt on the bench right now. Boyd attacking, going for the reverse, will not work. Stephen Thomas pulls it down, cleans it up, gets the foul.
Stephen Thomas, intensity written all over his place. The moment he stepped into the gym about 3 hours ago, this entire place sort of went quiet. It's as if a god was walking towards the locker room. And when he started, doing his pre-game warm-ups, everybody was paying attention.
So a 7-0 run for the Macau Wolf Warriors. It's now Coach Jimmy Alapag's turn to take the timeout as we take a look at This follow-up by one of the strongest guys on the floor, Stephen Thomas.
Hey, remember, get that ball here. You get that ball to the wing. Get that ball in short corner. Short corner, dive. We got to test the paint. Hey, I post short corner on the zone. Let's go. Hey, I told you. Hey, they called you out.
Touchdown.
38-30 is the count, so it turns out that was an excellent timeout called by Coach Todd Purvis, because ever since that timeout, 7-0 run mounted here by the Macau Wolf Warriors, trimming the lead down to 8. It was as big as 15 earlier, and Stephen Thomas has a chance to trim it further.
Well, Stephen Thomas, of course, 1 of 2 so far today at the free throw line, but his presence underneath, 1 of 3. You started this, Martin.
You jinxed it this time.
No, but again, you know, the way he just patrolled inside, and finally a basket for Jason Brickman as a member of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
That's right. His first points here in Season 10. So Jason Brickman getting on the board and giving Alab Pilipinas back the double-digit advantage. Side Chen from the corner. Short. Brickman gets it. Brickman is on the move. Jason over to Gray. To the corner they go. Vigil for 3. It drops for Louis Vigil.
And Louis Vigil, of course, we've been covering this kid ever since he was in the college ranks in the Philippines. This guy is a dead shot, especially in transition. You leave him that wide open, it's like giving him a layup.
I think he was able to score 70-plus or 80-plus when he was in high school.
That's true.
That's right. Julian Boyd, the spin, the shot. It falls for Julian Boyd. And we have an exchange of baskets here from both sides.
And again, you know, the Macau Wolf Warriors still have that height advantage, and they're trying to use it to the hill, especially in the half-court game. But now they're running.
Shanto on the move. Oh, doesn't finish. Boyd no good on the tip-in as well. So 2 sorry misses for the Macau Wolf Warriors in transition. And they will be called for the foul here as Julian Boyd fouled the rebounder right after.
That's very interesting exactly what Macau is doing right now. They are trying to outrun a team known for running, and they're doing it with great success. So Jimmy Alapag is going to make a substitution here to bring in Lawrence Domingo for Brandon Ganuela's roster.
Nick King, bounce pass. Domingo almost losing it. Oh, tapping it to Doug Herring though. So here is Herring. A foul called against Jeremiah Gray.
Yeah. Well, Doug Herring was on his way towards the paint when Jeremiah Gray stood in his way.
So action picking up because both teams are choosing to play fast in this stretch of the second quarter.
It's also interesting to note how fast the substitutions are coming in for both coaches. It feels like a hockey game right now.
Right. Correct.
But
a lot of substitutions happening in this stretch.
They just put them in on the fly, like in hockey.
That's right. Doug Herring missing, though, on the first. He had 19 points and 10 assists with 6 rebounds in their first game. Won the championship with the CLS Knights a season ago.
Yeah, but the big number there that was missing for Doug Herring in the loss against the Macau Black Bears is the steals.
Yeah.
0 steals in the game for Doug Herring. He was averaging 2.4 steals a game. This guy was a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year in the ASEAN Basketball League. And if he can bring that kind of defense, he does have a couple of steals already today. That's a good sign for the Macau Wolf Warriors.
That's right. Louis Vigil trying to find Lawrence Domingo. That's going to be a kick against Stephen Thomas. So ball staying on this side of the floor, and Alab Pilipinas ahead by 10, under 5 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Jason Brickman to trigger this one in, up against his former teammate in college, Julian Boyd. Vigil. He is up against Yansu. Vigil. Gray from the corner. Too strong. Domingo getting it from Chen. Nick King down the lane. Nick King off the glass.
And that's a great recognition. Lawrence Domingo wanted to take on, if that was Lawrence Domingo from 2 years ago, he would have taken on that triple team, probably have gotten fouled, probably go 1 of 2 from the free throw line.
Correct.
But now the more mature Lawrence Domingo looking for an open teammate. And again, that is the influence of a Jason Brickman on the team. Involve everybody. You see Jason Brickman's presence there, you want to get everybody involved.
But Stephen Thomas with a quick answer for the Wolf Warriors. And now they exchange baskets here with San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Over 4 minutes remaining. Jason Brickman. Vigil, catch and shoot. Too strong. Domingo with another offensive rebound. Brickman.
Oh, wow.
To the cutting Domingo. Stolen by Tsai Chen. Julian Boyd is on the run. Boyd in transition. Flips it up with the left. No. He gets his own miss and puts it back in off the glass.
Well, that's just talent right there coming from Julian Boyd. He was up against 4 red shirts already in that occasion. 16 in the game already.
Wow. Pacing his team here in the first half. Gray. Bounce to King. King kicking it out. Brickman pulls the trigger, and he knocks it down.
They sort of forgot that Jason Brickman is also a known three-point shooter.
Yeah.
There was one spell when he was playing in his first season for Mono Vampire that he was shooting over 50% from deep.
That's right. He is a very accurate sniper from downtown. 3-point field goal, 7 out of 15 for Alab Pilipinas. And only 2 3-pointers made for the Wolf Warriors so far.
Both of them coming from Chai Chen.
That's right.
Oh,
good
wow.
find! Brickman to Gray inside. Now that's just brilliant playmaking coming from Jason Brickman.
Jason Brickman is on pace for 28 assists in this game. He had 7 in the first quarter. He's picked up about 4 already here in limited minutes in the second.
Well, it's safe to say that he is back to his old self, Noel. Here is Doug Herring. Boyd backing down. Boyd against Domingo. Shoots over Lawrence and kissing it off the glass again.
And that will be the lone source of income right now. He's a legit post threat. Stephen Thomas is just there to crash the boards at this point.
Yeah, 18 points now for Julian Boyd. 2.5 remaining in the first half. Here's the drive. Nick King just forcing that one up. Herring on the run. They don't have the numbers. It is a 4-on-3. Herring attacks anyway.
Doesn't care.
Able to score in the process plus the foul.
Remember when he was playing for the CLS Knights, he had a lot of potent scorers around him, but he would still go for those forced fast breaks, even if there were defenders down. He's a very talented scorer around the rim. Probably won't get you many 3-point shots, although I remember that series they had against Saigon Heat. He just let it fly over in Surabaya. But in this case, look at splitting the defense against 3 red shirts. Great finisher around the rim. Douglas Herring with a 3-point play opportunity.
Bit of a hang time shown there by Doug. He doesn't complete it though, but that pulls them closer. They are within 9 points, 41-50. Nick King going back to his point guard, Jason Brickman. Vigil attacks. Bounce to Domingo. The kick out, Jeremiah Gray. And that is deflected by Doug Herring. Those are the steals you were talking about earlier, Noel.
And Doug Herring has gotten 3 steals in this game so far.
Oh, Julian Boyd all the way to the hoop. Fantastic pass coming from Doug Herring as well.
Doug Herring did have 10 assists in their opening game, and Doug Herring is now starting to feel it for his team.
So the Wolf Warriors with another counter run, and Jimmy Alapag calls for time.
Last one at 54. Hey, let's get a good possession offensively. Let's come back and stop foul. Hey, listen. Go dive. Go, get stop right here. Big stop right here. Let's go! Let's keep working. Let's go! Let's go!
Back here to the coverage, and it has been a game of runs both on the court and on the scoreboard. Because these two teams, you know, amazing exchange of baskets and just scoring in spurts at this point.
It's a high-quality game being played by 2 teams that have yet to pick up their first win in this young season, the 10th season of the ASEAN Basketball League. But again, Jason Brickman has been the difference maker here for the Philippines. His plus-minus is off the charts at this point.
Nick King. Action continues here inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium. Jason going to Jordan here. They go to the post. Lawrence is there. Domingo the fake. The kick out to King. He strokes it. And that's in and out. And continues to bounce out for Nick King.
The zone defense has been working here for the Macau Wolf Warriors.
Yeah.
Ever since they went zone, they've been cutting away. They've been, inching into this lead.
Oh, that is an emphatic rejection coming from Nick King against Sai Chen. Wyatt over to King. King deciding to attack the Euro. Kick out to Wyatt from the corner. Will not fall. And Julian Boyd pulls it down.
They gotta be patient. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. There are seams in that 2-3 zone, but they're settling for the first 3-point shot that they see.
So that allows the Wolf Warriors to inch closer with under a minute remaining. And Doug Herring attacking the basket right there.
Doug Herring with a quick change of direction. And look at this. This lead is down to 5, and they have been doing this slowly and very slowly.
Down to a 2-possession game here. Wyatt still trying to find his rhythm in this game. To the corner. Heading finally breaks the dry spell for Alab Pilipinas.
That's his third three-pointer in the game already here, Martin. And, Jordan Herring, you see those numbers, 14 points in the game.
Jordan Herring getting the start here, and he scores in double figures in the first 2 quarters. Doug Herring. Last shot time here for the Wolf Warriors. About a second difference between the clocks. Herring bounce to Thomas to the corner. Sai Chen overshoots the mark. And that's going to mark the end of the first half here inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium. A very eventful first half we just had. Oh, correction here. Let's see. They're going to put some time on the clock here because the 24-second expired and we still had 1 second remaining on the game clock. Because it was a 1 second differential between the clocks. So it's only right that they put 1 second back in.
And the defense isn't there yet for the Macau Wolf Warriors. Let's see if they can heave it from the backcourt from Heading.
Heading the heave. Oh, that was online for Jordan Heading. Just unable to make the basket there. So it is 53-45 for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas at the half here in our season number 10 of your ASEAN Basketball League. So we got numbers, we got highlights coming your way when we return here. The reaction here inside Foshan Shishan Gymnasium.
I thought now.
Welcome back to the broadcast here in Foshan Shishan Gymnasium in Foshan, China. At the half, it is San Miguel Alab Pilipinas ahead by 8, 53-45. You guys are joined by Martin Javier and Noel Zarate here in the coverage. Noel, let's look at the numbers here. And let's take a look at why Alab Pilipinas is ahead right now.
Interesting to note in these statistics that both teams shot exactly the same percentage from the floor in that first half, 45.5% for both teams. But San Miguel Alab Pilipinas just torched them from beyond the arc with 8 out of 19 shooting, led of course by Jordan Heading's 3 3-pointers in the first half. But of course for the Macau Wolf Warriors, they were able to get more points in the paint. However, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is still perfect from the free throw line at 5 of 5, 7 of 14. For the Wolf Warriors, Julian Boy is leading all scorers right now with 20 points. But what's happening right now is there is no double teaming effort coming from the San Miguel Alab Pilipinas players. It's as if to say, let him, do his damage inside, but we limit everybody else. Doug Herring has been quiet on the offensive end, and Chai Chan does have 10 points in the game. Jordan Heading has 14 points, most of them coming in the first quarter, but it has really been about the emergence of Jason Brickman in this game. I'm surprised that he only picked up 1 assist in that second quarter.
Right.
He was on pace for 28 after getting 7 assists in the first quarter of that game. Now for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, the running game worked, but when the adjustment also came from the Wolf Warriors in playing the zone defense in the half-court set, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas sort of struggled with that. They sort of lost their touch from beyond the arc, and now let's see if Jason Brickman can start to look for those open seams in that zone defense. And that is, of course, if the Wolf Warriors still play the zone here in the second half.
So it is going to be interesting to see what are going to be the moves from both coaches here. Coach Jimmy Alapag, Coach Todd Purvis, both champion coaches here in the ASEAN Basketball League, batting it out here in their second game of the season. So to start the second half for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, they're going to go back to their starting unit here with Brickman, King, Heading, Forbes, and Jeremiah Gray. And here we go. Second half underway. Jordan Heading firing right away, missing the mark there. He has 14 points, eclipsing his point total. Oh! Julian Boyd getting up high for that jam.
How about this? The tables have now turned. It is now the Wolf Warriors trying to run the basketball.
So Alab Pilipinas, their lead has been cut to 6 after being as big as 15. No good on the hook. Here comes Doug Herring. Herring is on the move. Wolf Warriors slowly gaining momentum. Chai Chan dropping it in from deep.
And Jimmy Alapag is going to call a timeout with less than a minute into this second half. What a start here for the Wolf Warriors. Whatever San Miguel Alab Pilipinas did in the first half, the Wolf Warriors are doing that to Alab here in the second half.
So what was once a 15-point advantage for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has been cut to 3 by the Macau Wolf Warriors. A quick 5-0 start in the second half for the White Shirts, Noel.
And it's an emphatic start as well. A slam dunk coming from Julian Boyd and a 3-pointer coming from Chai Chan.
So they're trying to turn up the pace here against a team that's known to play fast also is San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Nick King backs down. Nick King will challenge. Short hook will not drop. Battle for the loose ball, ending up with Boyd. Shentu. Herring. Wolf Warriors on the attack here. A chance to inch closer. Herring on the step back. Herring shoots it. Just a little bit too strong on that one. Shentu tracks it down. Chai Chan. Touch pass. Heading loses it. Herring gets it. Thomas underneath, and they get the basket.
Douglas Herring, good basketball IQ right there, when everybody was trying to sprint down on defense, finding Stephen Thomas underneath.
Make that a 7-0 blitz to start the second half for the home team. Here's Jeremiah Gray. Alab Pilipinas trying to stop the bleeding. Brickman against Thomas. Now look at the face of Stephen Thomas there as he was guarding Brickman. Forbes off the mark. Rebound goes to Boyd.
Boy, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is just settling for the first open jump shot that they see. And somehow the Wolf Warriors have neutralized Jason Brickman.
Herring over to Thomas. Back-to-back hoops for Stephen Thomas plus the foul. And he gives the Wolf Warriors the 1-point advantage.
Stephen Thomas now with 9 in the game. Only scored 5 in the season opener against the Macau Black Bears. But great play there on the pick and roll coming from Doug Herring. And Doug Herring approaching the 10 assists that he scored in their home opener.
So Stephen Thomas heading to the free throw line. The ABL vet had 5 points, 8 rebounds in the first half. 1 out of 3 from the free throw line. Now at 50% at 2 out of 4.
They celebrate more of him making a free throw than him making a field goal on the squad. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is in trouble. They haven't scored here in the third.
10-0 run now for the Wolf Warriors. King the kick out. Gray fakes. He moves closer. Pass deflected by Thomas. Turnaround by Gray. Will not fall. And Julian Boyd losing that one out. So ball staying on the side of the red shirts.
But again, the defense has extended now. This is something that Todd Purvis told me before the start of the game. They allowed too many three-point attempts, 43 in total against the Macau Black Bears. They want to limit that number now. Just 20 attempts so far, or 21 attempts so far from San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
And we don't see that crisp ball movement, that fast ball movement from San Miguel Alab Pilipinas that they had to begin the game here. Brickman dropping it off. Forbes, and Stephen Thomas thought he got all ball there.
Looked like he did get all ball, but the forward motion of his arm just decked one of the players, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. And I guess the look on Stephen Thomas's face says it all.
And that's sheer strength from the ABL vet, Stephen Thomas. Adrian Forbes heading to the free throw line here for a couple of shots. Forbes had a rough start to his ABL career. Only had 4 rebounds against a very tough matchup in Ryan Watkins of Mono Vampire in their first game.
He's only got 4 points, make that 5 points here today so far. It's been a non-factor on offense. He and Khalif Wyatt have to be stepping up in this game. It can't all be Jordan Heading at this point.
And Forbes goes 1 out of 2. Thomas pulls it down. Here comes Sai Chen stepping into a jumper. Will not work. Boyd hustling for that offensive rebound. Good feed. Shentu. Sai Chen, that is deflected by Forbes. And Forbes will be whistled.
Called that. Two referees called that. Looked like a clean block there by Forbes upstairs.
So Sai Chen heading to the free throw line. That's 4 fouls now on Adrian Forbes. And he might need to go to the bench early here. Earlier, he was replaced by Domingo. There is Lawrence Domingo going to the scorer's table, getting ready to check in and replace Adrian Forbes.
Sai Chen is about halfway to get to the goal, almost halfway to get to the goal of hitting 32 once again.
So another impressive outing here for Sai Chen as Lawrence Domingo replaces Adrian Forbes, who now nurses 4 personal fouls.
Now this is going to shrink the lineup big time for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. You can hear some Wolves going off here as well. We are in the Wolves Den here in China.
Nick King, Jordan Heading, looking for a teammate here. And again, this defensive scheme working perfectly for the Wolf Warriors. Brickman, the kick out. Gray moving closer. Gray pull-up jumper, short. And Thomas gets the rebound. A chance for the Wolf Warriors to compound to this lead.
Well, Jeremiah Gray started off 3 for 3 in this game. He has missed his last 8 attempts. Great defense, however, by San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Jeremiah Gray with the rejection. Here's Gray on the other side. Scoop, no hoop. Thomas, quick outlet. Herring on the other side. Lobs it up. Sai Chen, no. Herring with a cleanup.
Nice to have a 6'3" point guard on the trail job. Wolf Warriors now their biggest lead of the game.
It is now 59-54. Make that a 14-1 run for the Macau Wolf Warriors to begin the third. Nick King backing up against Stephen Thomas. Nick King got in, scoop, still no. And rebound goes to Julian Boyd. Thomas slows to get up.
And Stephen Thomas just used his heft that time to impede the path of King.
Doug Herring working the kick out. Shentu had daylight. Long floater drop for Chris Shentu.
That's a shot I haven't seen Chris Shentu do too much last season, but if it works, why not?
Lawrence Domingo. Face-up jumper. Will not drop for Domingo.
Yeah, they're settling for these jumpers.
Yeah.
Now, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is 5 of 5 from the free throw line. They can get there with more consistency. That's going to help them.
Play broken up. Gray gets the steal. Brickman on the move. Alab Pilipinas, they have the numbers here in transition. Nick King the kick out. And Heading, too strong from deep.
Starting to run out of bullets here, Jordan Heading.
Yeah. Golden opportunity missed right there for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
They have no field goals in this third quarter.
Only a free throw earlier, which was scored by Adrian Forbes. Oh, good pass. Nick King going to Jeremiah Gray.
That's going to help Gray's confidence. He missed 9 consecutive shots before making that layup.
So Jeremiah Gray scoring again for Alab Pilipinas. First basket made for Alab Pilipinas in the third. Doug Herring backing down. The kick out. Sai Chen, that's a good look. And Sai Chen makes the defense pay.
Sort of hard to stay with Sai Chen when everybody's trying to post up inside. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas still going to a man-to-man defense. And when you're late on rotation, that's going to leave a shooter open.
And Sai Chen now is up to 18 points. Brickman, King to the corner. Heading, thinking about it. Eventually shoots it and drops it in.
And they're going to live with that. The Wolf Warriors are going to live with that. That was a challenge shot by Jordan Heading. And San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has got to get more from that arsenal than just shots coming from Jordan Heading.
So 2 straight baskets for Alab Pilipinas ever since that dry spell to begin the third. Thomas no good on the hook. And that's a shot they're going to give him. Herring breaking down the play. And tracking the ball down for the steal. Shentu. Boyd, two-handed hammer for Julian Boyd.
Transition offense, superb for the Wolf Warriors. Transition defense, suspect now for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. How about 24 for Julian Boyd? He had 21 in his debut here in the ABL.
Oh, and that's going to be a turnover here for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. I think this is going to be on Lawrence Domingo. Wow. So offensive foul called against Lawrence Domingo away from the basketball. Sai Chen will be replaced here by Derek King. Sai Chen going to the bench with 18 points across his name.
Yeah, and he bows every time he checks out of the game. He knows that most of these people came here to watch him.
Yeah.
He's performed well. But here's a guy who hasn't performed yet for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Khalif Wyatt, they need his points and a hurry.
Yeah, he's back on the floor. Oh, Stephen Thomas nailing that one from 15.
Hey, Stephen Thomas had better start taking jump shots every time he takes free throws. That looked pretty good.
So it is a 9-point lead now for the White Shirts. Here's the bounce pass. Derek King rejected by Domingo. And ball staying with the home team here with a lot of time to work with. They have 18 seconds left to get a shot off.
And this third quarter is going on so fast right now. It's amazing that the Wolf Warriors, pretty much known for their half-court game, beating San Miguel Alab Pilipinas in the game that they thrive in, which is the running game.
Yeah. Doug Herring backing down against the big guy Domingo. Boyd from deep, hand in his face, too strong. Thomas pulls it down, and Thomas working hard down low.
That is Stephen Thomas. He just gobbles up those rebounds, the leading rebounder in league history.
Yeah. King. Wyatt penetrating. Wyatt got in. Still low for Khalif Wyatt.
One and done for many possessions here for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. They won the rebounding battle in the first half. The tables have turned here in the third.
Right. Here is Herring. Kick out to Shentu, rotating to King, who had a lot of contact with the defender in that sequence. Nick King on the move, got the hop. Nick King all the way to the cup.
And Nick King, you know, doing a little bit of the dribbling himself. Jason Brickman, they're denying Jason Brickman access to the basketball right now. That's part of the defensive scheme being shown now by the Wolf Warriors here in the third.
So earlier it was the biggest lead for the Wolf Warriors at 11. Now it's at 9. Derek King puts it up and in.
Again, no help defense coming from San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. All single coverage on those post-ups.
King couldn't answer. Doesn't get the bounce. And well, with 2 minutes remaining here in the third quarter, Brandon Ganuelas Rosser checks back in replacing Nick King. This has been in total, a 26-point turnaround in this basketball game. Wolf Warriors turning it up here in the third quarter.
And being up by 11 right now makes them feel good. But again, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, they still have a few bullets left in their gun. Now, Brandon Ganuela's roster, this is a guy who could spell the difference now from the second unit.
Was able to nail a three-pointer in the first half. So let's see what he can do here in the second, especially offensively. Doug Herring, Derek King moving closer. Oh, out of control there is Derek King. And ball going back to the side of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Louis Vigil checking in for, let's see,
Jason Brickman.
Jason Brickman. All right, Brickman will take a breather. And it is Jordan Heading at point for Alab Pilipinas.
And it will be Chai Chen at center now for the Wolf Warriors. So they really want to run San Miguel Alab Pilipinas to the ground at this point.
A minute and a half remaining in the third. It is Khalif Wyatt, who hasn't been effective so far for Alab Pilipinas. Back to him. Wyatt navigating. Wyatt backs up and takes the jumper. That's good.
So Wyatt, let's see if that opens up his arsenal. That gets him into his range right now. He's only got 7 points in this game.
Yeah, he is a known scorer in the league he came from, which is in Israel.
Yeah.
Play broken up. Picked up by Wyatt. Wyatt going to Louis Vigil. He will attack. Oh, met up top by Tsai Chen.
Not a good idea, actually, for Louis Vigil at 6'2", going up against Tsai Chen that time, who's not only known for his offense, he's a pretty underrated defender as well.
That's right. 72-63, under a minute remaining in the third quarter. It is Khalif Wyatt with possession. Nailed the jumper earlier from the free throw line. Heading over to Vigil. Vigil got the hop. Vigil puts it in.
And that's a shot that we've seen him make time and time again. And ever since his younger days in college, just the hop, skip, and release.
So 4 straight for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Doug Herring decided to attack, and ball stripped out of his hands. It is Jeremiah Gray entering for Jordan Heading here.
I like the substitution, bringing in Jeremiah Gray, because now you want to tell the opponents, the Wolf Warriors, that we're going to start penetrating against your defense right now.
That's right. Here's the lob off the inbound.
Great defense.
Picked up by Vigil. That was Domingo getting a hand on the basketball. But again, Alab Pilipinas couldn't convert on the other end. That's one heck of a save coming from Doug Herring.
How about steal number 5 as well for Doug Herring? I mean, he's turned it up defensively, has not really been contributing on the offensive end. And how about this? Wolf Warriors are going to call a timeout just to give this unit on the floor a bit of a breather.
Back to the ball game and the coverage. And how about the Macau Wolf Warriors here in the third quarter, outscoring San Miguel Alab Pilipinas 27-12 to take the 7-point lead with a half-minute remaining in our third chapter. And
it isn't really anything extraordinary. These are the things that they tried to do in the first half. Their shots just weren't falling. But how about Stephen Thomas now with a double-double? 14 and 14. You know, before we came on the air, I was talking about Stephen Thomas bringing some Dwight Howard type presence on the floor, including the free throws, actually.
That's right. Now, those are Dwight Howard type of numbers put up here by Stephen Thomas.
What a great backdoor
Herring taking care of business down low. Tsai Chen with the assist.
You can't take your eye off of Doug Herring. That's going to end it for the third quarter here. Statement quarter here for the Wolf Warriors with a great turnaround. Todd Purvis has done a masterful job in the comeback effort.
It is a 9-point lead held by the home team. Can they stay ahead and take their first win of the season here at home? That's what we'll find out when we return to the fourth quarter of this game. Fourth quarter action almost underway. We're back inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium here in Foshan, China for the second home game of the Macau Wolf Warriors. And right now, as we begin the fourth quarter, they are looking good. Up ahead by 9 points against the visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. You guys are joined by Martin Javier, Noel Zarate, breaking this game down. Well, what happened in the third quarter?
Well, they just executed. The Macau Wolf Warriors went to their half-court set, did very well, but what surprised me really is the way their transition game actually worked in terms of offense. Everybody shared the ball, and everybody went for high percentage looks.
Yeah.
And we expect San Miguel Alab Pilipinas to change the defense. One more big factor, of course, is that man, number 14, Forbes, who just picked up his 5th foul. Oh, they're going to call this one on Wyatt.
Yeah.
Forbes started to turn pale for a moment.
That's right. Sigh of relief right there for Adrian Forbes. But the Wolf Warriors, so we take a look at the fouls there, outscoring Alab Pilipinas 29-12 in that third quarter to take the 9-point lead. Sai Chen, that one too strong. Jeremiah Gray grits it. Gray on the move. Gray gets it out. Wyatt, the jab. Khalif will go against Doug Herring here. Wyatt attacking, kicking it out. Vigil, foot on the line, will not drop. And Stephen Thomas posts down the board.
That's another one and done right there. That 2-1-2 zone from a 2-3 zone is now starting to bother the shooters once again, or starting to bother the inside game again.
Here's Julian Boyd on a mismatch against Louis Vigil. And Boyd takes full advantage there, able to draw the foul against Vigil.
Now defensively, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has not made any switches with regard to the post player. Whoever gets the post guy stays with the post guy. There is no help coming. Louis Vigil, 6'2" against 6'8". That's a problem.
Here's Doug. They send it out to Chris Shantu, lobbing it up to Doug Herring. Boyd has range. Boyd knocks it down.
Julian Boyd can do no wrong in this game. That's actually his first three-pointer in this game. And the Wolf Warriors are on a roll.
And Julian Boyd is up to 27 points. It is a 12-point lead for the home team. Wyatt still nothing on that banker. Here comes Boyd up against Gray. Might have the advantage here, but he kicks it out to Doug Herring. Back to Boyd here on the repost. Shantu on the catch. Shantu crossing over, blowing by Vigil. Shantu to the cup. He will be fouled. Good decision making right there for Chris Shantu.
Shantu once again with a quick first step. Three players tried to collapse on him. One of the rare times that San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is going to send help defenders, and they still allow free throws.
Yeah, Chris Shantu taking two in the next sequence. But look at this attack, blowing by Louis Vigil, and then got Ganuelas Rosser to commit on the help. So Chris Shantu at the free throw line, a staple of the starting unit for Coach Todd Purvis. Right now, Shantu has 5 points.
Again, that's a great combination to have in the backcourt. Both guys 6'3", interchangeable. You know, Doug Herring can play off the ball anytime. We've seen that when he was still playing with the CLS Knights, when they would have actually Wong Wei Long do the point guard chores.
Correct.
So he can share the backcourt with anybody. A great team player right here. And then Chris Shentu, of course, we've seen what he had done last season as well.
Oh, he's shown versatility, especially offensively. Can take the three-pointer, can make it, can also create his own shot off the dribble.
Interesting to note, of course, that Doug Herring is playing for the team that picked up 2 wins last season.
Yeah.
One of those wins was against his CLS Knights. However, he wasn't on the team yet.
That's right. It was, I think, back in Nanhai Stadium. That's where it happened.
December of last year.
Here is, Khalif Wyatt called bank on that one.
Well, now in double figures, Wyatt's got 10 in the game.
So down to an 11-point lead for the Macau Wolf Warriors here. 2 minutes gone in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Wolf Warriors this early already befriending the clock. They're going to any post option that they see to try and slow things down. Chai Chen is now moving to the weak side, and Stephen Thomas's turn right now to post up.
So it is Thomas against Forbes. Thomas again off the dribble. That is off to the left. Boyd got open. No good as well. Rebound ending up with Wyatt. And
so
Khalif.
hard. Yeah, so hard to box out Stephen Thomas. Needed 2 guys to get it done.
Jeremiah Gray getting fouled by Tsai Chen. And that is only the first personal against Tsai Chen. But Gray will head to the line for 2.
That's also one aspect that Tsai Chen has actually improved on this season. There would be times that he would sit a long period of time on the game because he's in foul trouble.
Right.
And he stayed away from that, at least in the first 2 games, but he did allow Jeremiah Gray to get to the free throw line, where San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is still perfect.
That's right.
I had to wait until it got in.
So you don't jinx it.
Yeah.
Okay. Because we had a couple of jinxes already in this game. All right,
you owe Stephen Thomas a free throw.
Okay. 11 points now for Jeremiah Gray out of Dominican College in the States. 2 for 2. It is 79-70. Nick King quickly back in for Alab Pilipinas. And his service is badly needed here.
Now he's going to have the unenviable task of trying to stay in front of Chai Chen.
So Doug Herring being hounded by Jeremiah Gray early. Herring over to Boyd. They go to the post. Stephen Thomas backs down. Thomas short stab, no good. Rebound ending up with Boyd, and another crack at the basket for the white shirts.
Oh.
Thomas down low. Thomas, no good. King with a rebound, and here comes Alab Pilipinas on the 4-on-5. Vigil. Let's see. That's going to be a foul away from it. So 79-70. Oh,
technical.
It's going to be a technical foul
on Todd Purvis.
So a free throw coming up for Alab Pilipinas.
I didn't quite see what Coach Todd did to elicit that technical foul.
Yeah. It's going to be for Nick King here. 13 points for Nick King. Yeah, 21 against Mono Vampire. The only bright spot. At least one of the few for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas in that game.
And their bench also did a pretty good job in that game against Mono Vampire. Now it has to be all hands on deck. This is just an 8-point lead now for the Wolf Warriors. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Remember, this team has been together as a unit for only 3 weeks.
Nick King. That one is too strong. Over the back. And rebound by Vigil. Gray still missing. Couple of misses for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Wolf Warriors off and running. Doug Herring will settle and reset the offense. Herring to Thomas. They swing it to Shentu. Back to Thomas. And Thomas will be fouled. 2 free throws coming up for Steven.
And if that's on Adrian Forbes, he is gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's going to be big. Yeah, it is on him. So that's 5 on Adrian Forbes. He is done for the night, finishing the game with 5 points.
So another performance for Forbes. Did not play well against the Mono Vampire and was shut down here again today.
Rough start to the season for Adrian Forbes. 4 points, 4 rebounds against Mono. And tonight he will foul out with 6:31 remaining in the fourth quarter. And fouling out with 5 points. So Stephen Thomas heading to the line, who has shot it decently tonight for the Wolf Warriors.
Defined decently.
50%. That's good for Stephen Thomas.
Every time he's at the free throw line and you're talking, something happens. Stephen Thomas not really known for his free throw shooting. Now, we give him credit for the offense. He's actually amassed. He's already number 7 all time in the ASEAN Basketball League all time scoring list. And a split at the free throw line helps them. But again, this lead is 9 points, and San Miguel Alab Pilipinas has proven in the past that they can come back from deficits even bigger than this.
Louis Vigil going baseline and puts it up and in. So down to a 7-point lead.
They just got to keep it simple at this point. They've been playing great defense here in the fourth quarter. If they can convert that to high percentage shots on the offensive end, they've got a shot.
Almost 4 minutes gone in the fourth. Boyd against Vigil. Ball swing to Shentu. Shentu all day to shoot for that one.
That's a set shot for Chris Shentu. That means it was like a free throw for him. 10 points in the game for this kid.
And it's back up to 10. Shentu hitting double figures already. Nick King, ball fake, trying to challenge Thomas. Tough shot made there by Nick King.
Looks like he got shaken up, also colliding with Stephen Thomas, and Stephen Thomas hardly a dent.
Yeah. And so 83-75. Another exchange here in the fourth quarter. Doug Herring surveys. Again, Wolf Warriors slowing it down here. Shentu. Back to Herring on top. They got 5 seconds to work with. Herring will attack Heading. Herring with a left hand.
And again, when there are no options left, Doug Herring just got to take it strong. He did this last year with the CLS Knights. He's doing it again, 13 in the game.
Wow. Wyatt to the corner. Heading got the fake. One dribble in. Heading makes the shot.
Now, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas cannot afford to trade baskets here. They did have a good start defensively here in the fourth. But if you keep trading baskets, you're going to run out of time. We got less than 5 minutes to go, and they're still down by 8.
And very interesting here, Jason Brickman. And as I say that, Jason Brickman heads to the scorer's table here, looking to check in. Foul away from the ball. That's going to be an offensive foul on Stephen Thomas.
He does have the height advantage against Nick King. And Nick King sort of locked him up there in the paint. Wanted to get out, had to push off, and was caught. That's only number 2, however, on Stephen Thomas. And you were talking about Jason Brickman.
Yeah.
That was an extended rest.
Correct.
For somebody who was on pace for 28 assists at the end of the first 10 minutes of the game.
I think it went out with a few minutes left in the third quarter. It already halfway done here in the fourth quarter, and Brickman will check in right after this timeout. Alab Pilipinas down by 8.
We have a correction. The offensive foul was on Stephen Thomas, not on Julian Boyd. Second foul for Stephen Thomas.
嚟到關鍵嘅最後4分48秒嘅時間，目前澳門戰狼隊暫時領先住8分。現場支持澳門戰狼隊嘅球迷喺邊度？
Back to the coverage. It is an 8-point game with under 5 minutes remaining here in the contest. Macau Wolf Warriors holding on to this 8-point lead at home. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas trying to change that in this next possession. Jordan Heading. Quick response for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, and we have a 5-point game, Noel.
There was a mix-up on defense. Nobody rotated out to the shooters. This was the problem, of course, of the Wolf Warriors in the first half. They addressed it in the third, but now it's coming back again.
That's right. 85-80. Stephen Thomas lost the ball, tried to save it, But he was already outside.
That's a lot of heart shown there by 6'3" Lawrence Domingo, trying to stop 6'10" Stephen Thomas. And he got it. He was successful.
That's right. So it's Lawrence Domingo tasked to face Stephen Thomas on the defensive end for Alab Pilipinas. Nick King overshooting the mark. And Doug Herring snatching the rebound.
Yeah, they don't have to rush this one right now. They are within striking distance. They just need to play pretty good defense. And, well, I was about to say that Julian Boyd hasn't scored here in this fourth quarter. It looks like he's holding on to his left calf.
Ooh. Oh, this is going to be an issue for Julian Boyd.
Uh-oh. Yeah, you know, I don't know if you ever felt that, Martin. You get hit at the back of your calf. Your muscles sort of tighten up after that. It's like having reverse cramps, actually.
Right. And before going here, Noel, here's an interesting bit about Julian Boyd as well. He already had 4 ACL surgeries done.
Are you serious?
That's right.
Wow.
Ever since 2012. He was in college.
So he's got to be bionic already at this point. I know, what, both knees or just one knee?
I think both knees already.
Wow.
Yeah, for Julian Boyd. And Julian Boyd here, again, coming in just off a championship in Iceland. Also got the MVP there.
Right. Foreign Player of the Year, actually, given to him.
Brickman. Alab Pilipinas on the attack. Domingo inside. Oh, sent back by Chai Chen.
Every time they try to attack, try to test how good is this Chai Chen defensively, they get the answer.
Yeah. And that is the second rejection of Chai Chen. There you go. Brickman triggering this one into Heading. Heading is against Shantu. Jordan to the corner. Nick King moving closer again. Scoop and a hoop for Nick King.
And Nick King is a lefty, of course. When he moves to the left and you don't send extra defenders, that's going to be an easy shot.
Saw the space on the left side. Nick King able to convert. And we have a 2-possession game once again. 3.5 remaining in this exciting game between Alab Pilipinas and the Wolf Warriors. But that's going to be a foul away from the ball. Jordan Heading called for this one.
That's his third, but more importantly, penalty situation enforced here against San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. That's going to mean more free throws now for Julian Boyd.
Important free throws here for Julian Boyd, as he tries to go for a safer cushion for his entire team. Boyd, first one up and in. So Julian Boyd right now with 29 points already.
Now it's going to be a question of cohesion in the end. Of course, the Wolf Warriors have been together longer than this present crop of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas players, but I won't be surprised if Lawrence Domingo teams up with Jason Brickman for a final upheaval.
Nick King will attack. Wyatt sending it out to King. King hasn't been effective from outside. He will go in and send it out to Heading from the corner. That's a big make coming from Heading.
Jordan Heading is playing the game of his life today. They are only down by a single possession.
87-85. A cardiac finish for sure. That is coming up. Here's the lob. The help by Nick King. Herring the kick out. Boyd is open from the top of the key. And the answer for the white shirts.
Here's another guy who's having the game of his life. Julian Boyd.
32 big ones for Boyd. And Thomas gets the steal. Nick King lost it. Herring setting the table for the Wolf Warriors. Todd Purvis on your screens. Herring backs up as he wastes some time away here. Herring pull up. Too strong. Rebound ending up with Brickman. And Brickman is up ahead for the easy deuce.
Jason Brickman, nobody can stop him when he's that wide open down the court. Lead is down again to 3. Now the pressure defense is on for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
And we are inside the last 2 minutes of this game. 90-87. Oh, ball recovered by Chai Chen. Almost a turnover.
Got 5 to shoot.
Boyd, floater, it's good! Julian Boyd coming up big, Noel.
He got the first step on Lawrence Domingo. 34 in the game right now for Julian Boyd.
Khalif Wyatt. Badly needed basket for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. And why not? Khalif Wyatt able to convert.
What a game.
90.
What a game.
Fantastic exchange here between these two teams. Thomas. They go to Boyd. Boyd the pull-up. Too strong. Rebound ending up with Wyatt. And back the other way goes San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. They have a chance to tie it up or take the lead with a 3. Wyatt. Kick out. Brickman for 3. Brickman gets them the lead.
And they did this the same way the Wolf Warriors came back in that third quarter, slowly but surely, but now they are making their outside shots. What a run for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Timeout called by the Wolf Warriors.
Back to the coverage. It is a one-point game, 93-92. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas taking back the lead with 1 minute and 6 seconds remaining in this game. But the Wolf Warriors will have an opportunity in the next sequence.
Whatever happens here, whoever wins deserves it. But whoever loses shouldn't hang their heads. This is a great improvement from both these squads' opening games.
Quick update of the other game. It is 68-79 in favor of the Macau Black Bears over Hong Kong Eastern. So that's the other game that's going on here in the ABL. Big shot for Julian Boyd once again.
And Jimmy Alab is going to call a timeout quickly here. Julian Boyd unconscious today, 36 in the game. What a performance. They're already shouting MVP this early in the tournament.
Oh my goodness, 36 points and a couple of big shots here, Noel, for Julian Boyd. A far cry from his performance in their previous matchup with the Macau Black Bears. So clearly
that was still decent though, 21
points.
Yeah, in that game. But you know, if you're this early, you know, some teams would be saying that this import probably wouldn't be able to last long in this team. So a lot of people are already looking for the Macau Wolf Warriors. They might make some changes. I mean, they waited pretty long last season to make a change in their import, but they still stuck with Eddie Curry through 6 games.
That's right.
And if you're going to make a change right now, I don't think you should change anything. Stephen Thomas brings a lot of veteran leadership there, his intensity. I mean, he's a great locker room guy as well. Doug Herring, his offense comes in spurts, but it's his defense in terms of steals, his assists as well. And I guess we have no more question about the resume of a Julian Boyd. Now for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, unfortunately for Adrian Forbes, wasn't really able to prove himself here today. But Wyatt has hit a few shots in the end game, and Nick King has also been pretty consistent.
That's right. So it is 94-93. You're right. All of the world imports for the Wolf Warriors solid today for this team. But Alab Pilipinas, they still have the opportunity here to take back the lead. It is Jason Brickman sending this one out to Khalif Wyatt.
Wow.
From the parking lot, Wyatt knocks it down.
That is ridiculous.
Cold-blooded shot for Khalif Wyatt. Boyd broken up by Domingo. And here comes Brickman. Boyd is down on the floor.
He's cramping up too.
Oh, wow.
Oh, this is San Miguel's ball. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas' ball.
Yeah. You need to stop it. Well, you can only stop it if it's with the other team.
I know. So Jimmy Alab is wondering why they had to stop that. Might be a blessing in disguise as well for Jimmy Alab, because right now he can actually throw in a play to make sure that they score. They are up by 2 with 34 seconds to go.
Very interesting stoppage there.
Yeah, he needs to be subbed out of the game because the game did stop because of him. They're going to work on him here. Jimmy Alab is still up in arms about the stoppage, and I can't blame him for it.
Yeah. All right. So it is 96-94. Julian Boyd using this time to get checked on the bench.
Well, he's about to sub in the next dead ball. He's got to miss one play. And if the shot clock winds down here, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is gonna return the ball anyway.
Yeah.
Unless they get an offensive rebound off a miss.
So Alab Pilipinas will set this one up with 18 seconds to work with at the half court. Jordan heading to trigger this one in. It is Shentu bothering him. Brickman outside. Khalif Wyatt hit a big shot earlier. Can he do it again?
So 1-4 top isolation. There's only one screener.
Oh, that's a foul hand in the cookie jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they have, a few fouls to give before hitting the penalty situation.
Yeah, they have one more foul to give right now. 23 seconds. And is Jimmy going to use his last timeout? Jimmy's going to use his last timeout here to map out a sure score. And if they do, that's going to be a lot of pressure on the Wolf Warriors.
So 96-94, 23.8 seconds remaining. Hold on to your seats.
Again, Jordan step in case they try to trap him. We got
Get a stop, and then everybody's got a rebound. Stay with the shooters. Defensive 1, 2, 3.
So 23.8 seconds remaining in the game. It is a 2-point game in favor of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. But whatever happens, Noel, if they, use up the full clock here, ball still goes back to the side of the Wolf Warriors.
Unless they miss it and get the offensive rebound.
That's right.
Which is going to force the Wolf Warriors to use their last foul. They have one more foul to give San Miguel Alab Pilipinas in the penalty. Now Jimmy Alab is out of timeouts, in regulation at least. I said the R word.
All right. Ball in hands of Khalif Wyatt. He's got Julian Boyd on him. Wyatt kicking it out. King, ball fake. King penetrating. Drop off inside. Lawrence Domingo. Ooh, in and out. And Boyd gets it.
They got
7 seconds to shoot. Doug Herring brings it downhill. Herring for 3 for the win. No!
Oh, he's fouled. He got fouled.
Goal, yeah. And that was while he was taking a 3. Wow. Crazy sequence here, Noel.
And you cannot not call that because Wyatt just went straight in to the chest of Doug Herring.
Yeah. Doug Herring heading into this trip. 1 out of 3 tonight from the charity stripe. He needs 2 to tie and all makes to
for
get
the
them
lead.
back the lead.
Yeah.
1.8 seconds remaining. Pressure packed free throws. First one missed by Herring. Two more for Doug.
Remember that movie where they say clear the mechanism? This should happen now for Doug Herring.
Second one made by Doug, so 1-point game, 95-96. Another one coming up.
Yeah, you're going for the tie right here because you don't want to miss the third one intentionally.
Right.
And hope to get a tip in, even if it is Stephen Thomas as one of the rebounders.
For the tie. Yes, for Doug Herring, 96 all. They get it to Wyatt. 1 second remaining. No. And we'd head into extra time here inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium.
I said the R word. I'm sorry. I said the R word.
Yeah.
I said regulation, and usually when that happens, we end regulation with this score.
96 apiece. 40 minutes, not enough time to decide the outcome of this one. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and the Macau Wolf Warriors going the distance. Overtime coming up next. All right, 96 apiece at the end of four quarters of play here inside the Foshan Shishan Gymnasium in Foshan, China. Overtime period coming up next between the Macau Wolf Warriors and the visiting San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. You guys are joined by Martin Aviar tonight, working alongside Noel Zarate, helping me break this game down. Noel, it was a crazy finish to this one. You know, both teams making key baskets to put us back to square one here in this contest.
However, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas is one player down heading into overtime as Adrian Forbes fouled out of the game in the fourth quarter. In the case of the Macau Wolf Warriors, however, their leading scorer, Julian Boyd, is already cramping up.
That's right.
So they got to make hay while the sun shines while he's still on the floor, as Jason Brickman is able to get that one done.
And Jason Brickman could be the start of a takeover for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas as he gets a key basket there. Brickman has 12 points. Herring. Overtime period begins. Julian Boyd got the space and puts it up and in. He's up to 38, Noel.
Yeah, doesn't look like he's cramping up right now. I think the team physicians did a great job massaging his calf during the break.
Just to answer your question, for Julian Boyd, as Wyatt misses from deep, heading, sending this one out. Nick King against Thomas here. Trying to challenge Thomas off the dribble. Bounce pass inside, intercepted by Herring.
Herring with 6 steals in the game.
So Doug Herring is looking to facilitate here. Heading this one to Tsai Chen. Been a while for Tsai Chen in the scoring column, so he gets bumped from behind. Alab Pilipinas already in the penalty. So Tsai Chen taking 2 in a bit.
Yeah, and again, FIBA rules, whatever fouls you have at the end of regulation, that is the same amount of fouls that you take to the overtime period. So Julian Boyd is going to take a seat once again. He's cramping up again.
Yeah. So after scoring the basket earlier, he gets attended there at the bench.
See the left side of your screens. They're working on him right now.
But Tsai Chen is at the free throw line. He's got 19 points. But most of those in the first 3 quarters. Got a bit silent in the fourth quarter, talking about Tsai. 2 for 2 there to give them the 2-point advantage. Jason Brickman setting the table now for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, guarded by the taller and longer Yansu. Brickman out to Heading, up against Shentu. Heading attacks, Heading scoops and hoops in that particular sequence.
Well, they forgot that Jordan Heading is left-handed. They gave him the left side, he made him pay. We're still tied at 100.
And Jordan Heading, a breakout game for him, 27 big ones.
Oh!
And that goes in for Douglas Herring, plus the foul.
I think Herring is blaming himself for this overtime period. He had 3 free throws with 1.8 seconds remaining in regulation. Missed the first, made the two to send it into overtime. And I think Herring with 17 points right now saying, no more second overtime. Let's put this game away. However, there's still a lot of time for the visitors from the Philippines.
Yeah, still just a one-possession game though. 103 to 100. Both teams reaching the century mark in this game. Also for the first time, or no, second time for the Wolf Warriors rather. Wyatt got the fake. One dribble out. Wyatt knocks it in from deep. Ties it up 103.
Talk about being a late bloomer. I mean, Wyatt had what, 6 points in his first game?
Yeah.
And he's exploded here. He's actually outscored his entire total for their first game against Mono right here in the fourth.
And look at that. 16 3-point shots for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Saigon puts it in. Strong move coming from Sai.
Big boy move against the defense of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
22 big ones for the big boy, Saigon.
Oh, great pass.
Pick and roll action coming from Brickman and Domingo.
And this game refuses to be untied, Martin Javier.
2.5 remaining. Another deadlock. 105 all. Douglas Herring surveys and sends it to Tai Chen. Well read by Wyatt. Brickman is on the move. A chance to take the lead back for Alab Pilipinas. Khalif zigzagging. Able to draw the foul from behind. That's going to be against Stephen Thomas.
Yeah, Stephen Thomas couldn't help himself right there. He just had to put up his hands because Wyatt was a little too deep underneath. But he got bailed out by that foul call.
Now, Khalif Wyatt, Noel, slowly getting his rhythm back.
Well, I guess this is one of the reasons why Jimmy Alapag brought him in the first place. I mean, you play for Temple. That's a pretty strict program that they have right there.
Correct.
And he's now proving why he was selected as one of the imports here for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas. Actually, in the game, San Miguel Alab Pilipinas had a game against the Philippine national team called Gilas Pilipinas.
Okay.
And they lost their first outing. That was still with Ronaldo Balkman in fold. But with these three imports together, they won against the Philippine national team. And Khalif Wyatt was one of the catalysts in that victory. Of course, Louis Vigil was the leading scorer in the win.
So this is probably the version of Alab Pilipinas that showed up in that game.
This is right.
Yeah.
Well, of course, not the third quarter, though.
That's right. So Khalif Wyatt and Alab Pilipinas gets the steal. Entering probably the final 2 minutes of this game. And I said that one carefully. Nick King faking, stepping out. Wyatt on top. Man of the moment for Alab Pilipinas. Wyatt with another big shot for the visiting squad.
Are you serious, Khalif Wyatt? That's 5 3-pointers in the fourth quarter and into overtime.
Yeah, it has been the Khalif Wyatt takeover in the overtime period. Oh, Thomas working hard down low. Hit Jason Brickman with the elbow right to the face.
You'd rather foul Stephen Thomas than to give him an easy layup.
Yeah.
You take your chances at the free throw line against one of the best players in the history of this league.
Brandon Ganuelos-Rosser checks back in, replaces Lawrence Domingo.
He's fouled out of the game. Lawrence Domingo's done a great job defensively. Undersized against most of the players of the Macau Wolf Warriors. Held his own, had a critical steal in that fourth quarter.
But what a challenge it was to actually go body to body with Stephen Thomas today for Lawrence Domingo. And Thomas taking care of business, knocking down the first. Pressure pack situation right here for the ABL vet.
Two-time champion of the ABL, as we mentioned earlier, of course, with the Indonesia Warriors and High-Tech Bangkok.
And also a former defensive player of the year back in 2012. So 107 to 110. That is the count here, heading into the final 90 seconds of this one. Khalif Wyatt is on top. He's got 24 points in the basketball game. Wyatt up against Boyd. Khalif.
Oh, what a pass!
And Brandon Ganuelos-Rosser breaks free. What a sequence for Wyatt and Brandon.
So they have 2 point guards who play that way.
Yeah. Doug Herring forcing one up. No good. He gets his own miss. Oh, that's going to be a foul against Jordan Heading. So
that happened right in front of us. The referee made the right decision there.
So that will mean free throws for Douglas Herring here. crucial ones also.
And Heading fouls out of the game. He has played well in a starting job for Coach Jimmy Alapag today.
So another one bites the dust for
27
San Miguel
points.
Alab Pilipinas. Yeah.
27 points to lead all scorers for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
Breakout game for Jordan Heading here. And most of those points coming from the three-point range. Louis Vigil checking back in for Alab Pilipinas to replace Jordan Heading. Doug Herring, on the other hand, with a big task on hand.
Well, he's made his free throws when it mattered most.
4 out of 7 tonight.
Yeah, he's made his last 4 free throws, actually.
So it is 108 to 112. Douglas Herring, by the way, tonight, he has 16 assists to his name. That's
and how many
fantastic.
steals, right?
6 wipes as well.
Oh, but he splits it.
Oh, makes it a 2-point game. Stephen Thomas on the cleanup.
It's still a minute to go. Anything can still happen in this one.
What a sequence for the veteran. 19 points and 17 rebounds now for Stephen Thomas. Wyatt up against Douglas Herring. Wyatt thinking about it. Sends it out to Brickman. Brickman against Shentu.
Got to
Shot
run the
clock
pick and
down
roll.
to 3. Oh! And Alab Pilipinas committing the turnover. It is picked up by Tai Chen. Wolf Warriors back the other way quickly. Shentu. Oh, sent back! Chase down rejection by Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser.
Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser. I believe is that Shentu shaken up right there. Remember, Chris Shentu missed some time last season as well with an ankle injury. See if he got hit on the head.
Let's take a look at this play. Look at that. Brandon Ganuelas-Rosser rocking the world of Chris Shentu.
There was no contact. That was a clean block, and we have a timeout.
Timeout on the floor here. 2-point game. Back here to the coverage. So just to give you guys a quick update of the other game.
Yeah, let's call it the other game because we're in overtime here.
The other game, yeah. Well, it's done already. Macau Black Bears taking that one on the road. Second straight win on the road for the Macau Black Bears. And beating Hong Kong Eastern 93 to 79 in that game. Mike McKinney pouring in 26 points. And Brandon Edwards chipping in 25. All right. Back to the ball game. Alab Pilipinas with a 2-point lead and the possession. Ball in the hands of their floor general, Jason Brickman. He's got 8 seconds to work with. Brickman, the scoop, and the hoop off the glass. And a 2-possession game now.
No more timeout here.
Herring with a heave, in and out. How about the dagger of Jason Brickman, taking that one off the dribble to the cup and giving Alab Pilipinas their first win of the season. 114 to 110 is the final count here in Foshan, China.
Now look at the sportsmanship, of course, of head coach Todd Purvis. As soon as the buzzer sounded, he went straight to the bench of San Miguel Alab Pilipinas and to congratulate Jimmy Alapag. Again, both teams played very well in this one. And it's going to be an indication that this season just started. San Miguel Alab Pilipinas with their first win, but nothing to be ashamed of course, for the Macau Wolf Warriors. They had spectacular performances coming from their world imports. We're talking about Stephen Thomas with a double-double, Doug Herring with a double-double, and of course, 38 points coming from Julian Boyd. Chai Chen also had 22, but for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, what a fourth quarter and overtime performance coming from Khalif Wyatt. He had 5 points at the half.
Correct.
And here are our numbers right now. You can just see it was like totally close, except for the assist total. That's, of course, credit to Jason Brickman. Turnover sort of picked up for the Wolf Warriors, but the free throws. How many were missed by the Macau Wolf Warriors? 12 free throws. They could have won this game in regulation. Easily in regulation, but they have a lot of pondering to do. But it's still a great game. Their 3 world imports did very well, and a great performance overall for San Miguel Alab Pilipinas.
And again, Wolf Warriors losing their 2nd straight game here at home and going down 0-2 as well in the season. But they hit the 100-point mark for the 2nd straight game. So that's probably something they could work on and use as a foundation moving forward here in the season. But if you're San Miguel Alab Pilipinas, this has to feel good, especially, you know, coming off that rough game, that opening game against Mono Vampire on the road.
How about doubling that score that they had against Mono Vampire in this win right here? 114 points that they registered, of course, in overtime. And they did find a few heroes along the way. Of course, Khalif Wyatt, you're probably thinking that might not last long here, but he had some really big shots, and he wanted to take those shots as well. You know, Nick King with 18 points as well to come up big, having 21 in that game against the Mono Vampire. But how about the game of Jordan Heading coming into this game? 27 points in the game. Knocked down a few key threes, of course, in the 4th quarter. It was a crazy end to this one. Both teams deserved to win, but San Miguel Alab Pilipinas officially picks up the win.
Open is Regulus. Back-to-back triples for Mono Vampire.
Only 7 remaining. He makes his move. Young forces it up and in! CC hasn't made a shot before that.
Pretty good so far here in the first half.
Everyone for the Black Bears finding the bottom